You've been taught to depend on motivation, to wait for the right feeling, to move only when inspiration strikes. But let me tell you something uncomfortable. That belief is exactly why you're stuck. That belief is why your goals rot in your notebook while others build empires. Because you're waiting for a spark that will never come. And Miyamoto Musashi, the undefeated swordsman who walked alone for decades, would laugh at that weakness. He didn't fight when he felt like it. He trained when his body screamed for rest. He refined his mind when chaos surrounded him. He became invincible not because he had more talent, but because he understood something you've forgotten. Discipline isn't built on emotion. It's built on defiance of emotion. This is the ancient path, the one that transforms ordinary men into forces of nature, the path where comfort dies and power is born. If you've ever wondered why some people seem untouchable, unshakable, immune to the chaos that destroys everyone else, it's because they walked this path. And if you're tired of being soft, if you're tired of breaking every time life pushes back, then pay attention. Because what I'm about to show you will either wake you up or make you run back to your comfortable prison. Either way, you'll never be the same. Most people think discipline is about willpower, about forcing yourself to do hard things. But that's surface level. That's what beginners believe. Real discipline, the kind that Musashi embodied, the kind that separates legends from the forgotten, isn't about force. It's about identity. It's about becoming someone who doesn't need to be forced because the action is automatic, because the standard is internal, because you've killed the version of yourself that negotiates with weakness. Think about it. When you wake up and your mind says 5 more minutes, you're not fighting laziness. You're fighting an identity, the identity of someone who chooses comfort over conquest. And every time you give in, you're not just losing that battle, you're reinforcing that identity. You're telling yourself, I am the type of person who breaks promises to myself. And the more you do that, the deeper that identity roots itself into your psyche until it becomes you. Until you can't escape it even when you desperately want to. That's the trap. That's why motivation fails. Because motivation is an emotion, and emotions are weather. They come and go. But identity is the ground beneath your feet. And if that ground is weak, everything you build will collapse. Musashi understood this in a way that most never will. He didn't train because he felt inspired. He trained because he was a warrior, and warriors train. It wasn't a choice, it was a definition. And that's the shift you need to make. Stop asking yourself, do I feel like doing this? And start asking, is this who I am? Because once you anchor your actions to identity, the question of motivation becomes irrelevant. You don't need to feel like it. You just do it because that's what you do. That's what you are. But here's the problem. You can't just decide to have a new identity. You can't wake up tomorrow and say, I'm disciplined now, and expect it to stick. Identity is built brick by brick, action by action, in the cold, quiet mornings when no one is watching. It's built in the moments when you want to quit and you don't. When you want to scroll and you close the phone. When you want to eat the junk and you choose the discipline. Every single one of those moments is a vote for the person you're becoming. And if you vote for weakness, you'll become weak. If you vote for strength, you'll become unbreakable. The choice is yours, but understand this. You're voting whether you realize it or not. Every action is a ballot, and the person you are right now is the sum of all the votes you've cast so far. Now let's go deeper into the mechanism, because understanding the psychology behind this will change everything. Your brain is a prediction machine. It doesn't care about your goals. It cares about survival and efficiency. And efficiency means doing what you've always done, because that's safe, that's known, that's low risk. So when you try to change, when you try to build discipline, your brain perceives it as a threat. It floods you with resistance, with doubt, with discomfort. It whispers, this isn't you. You don't do this. Why are you pretending? And most people listen to that voice. They mistake it for truth, But it's not truth, it's programming. It's the voice of your past self trying to keep you locked in the prison you've outgrown. Musashi would tell you to ignore that voice, not because it's lying, but because it's irrelevant. Yes, this isn't who you've been, but that doesn't mean it can't be who you become. And the only way to silence that voice is to drown it out with action, with relentless, undeniable, consistent action. Because your brain doesn't change based on what you think or what you want. It changes based on what you do. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself, is triggered by behavior, not intention. So if you want to become disciplined, you have to act disciplined before you feel disciplined. You have to fake it until the fakeness becomes your foundation. And here's the beautiful part. It doesn't take as long as you think. Studies show that new neural pathways can begin forming in as little as 21 days of consistent behavior. But here's the catch, it has to be consistent. 1 day on, 2 days off won't cut it. You have to show up, especially on the days you don't want to, especially when it's hard, because those are the days that matter most. Those are the days when your brain is watching, deciding whether this new pattern is real or just another fleeting attempt. Let's talk about the ancient framework, the structure that Musashi himself used to forge his unbreakable mind. He called it the way of walking alone, and it's built on 3 pillars: solitude, suffering, and simplicity. First, solitude. Musashi spent years alone, not because he hated people, but because he understood that true strength is built in isolation. In solitude, there's no one to impress, no one to validate you, no one to soften the truth. You face yourself raw and unfiltered, and that's where the real work happens. Because when you're alone, you can't hide behind excuses. You can't blame others. You can't distract yourself with noise. You have to sit with the discomfort of who you are and decide who you want to become. Most people avoid solitude because it's terrifying. Because in the silence, they hear the truth. They're not who they pretend to be. But if you can embrace that terror, if you can sit in that silence without running, you'll find something most people never do: clarity. Clarity about what matters, about what you want, about what you're willing to sacrifice to get it. And once you have that clarity, discipline becomes effortless. Because you're not forcing yourself to do hard things, you're simply aligned with your purpose. The second pillar is suffering. Musashi didn't avoid pain, he sought it. He trained in the coldest winters, fought the deadliest opponents, lived with the bare minimum. Why? Because he knew that comfort is the enemy of growth. That every time you choose ease, you weaken. And every time you embrace discomfort, you strengthen. This is the principle of hormesis, the biological phenomenon where exposure to stress makes you more resilient. Your muscles grow when you tear them. Your immune system strengthens when it fights off threats. Your mind hardens when it endures hardship. But here's the problem with modern life. We've eliminated most forms of suffering. We have climate control, instant food delivery, endless entertainment. And while that's made life easier, it's also made us softer. We've lost the ability to tolerate discomfort, to sit with pain, to push through resistance. And that's why discipline feels impossible. Because we've been conditioned to avoid anything that doesn't feel good. But Musashi would tell you the path to power runs straight through suffering. Not meaningless suffering, but intentional discomfort. Cold showers, fasting, early mornings, hard training. These aren't punishments, they're inoculations. They teach your nervous system that discomfort isn't dangerous, that you can feel the resistance and act anyway. And the more you practice this, the less power discomfort has over you, until one day you realize you're not afraid anymore. You're not controlled by your feelings. You're free. The third pillar is simplicity. Musashi lived with almost nothing, a sword, a few robes, his discipline. That's it. No distractions, no clutter, no excess. And that simplicity wasn't poverty, it was power. Because the more you own, the more you're owned. The more commitments you have, the less freedom you have. The more options you entertain, the more paralyzed you become. Simplicity cuts through all of that. It forces you to focus on what matters and eliminate everything else. And in that focus, discipline thrives. Think about your life right now. How much of it is noise? How many apps are fighting for your attention? How many subscriptions are draining your money? How many relationships are draining your energy? How many goals are scattered across your mind, none of them getting the focus they deserve? That's not abundance, that's chaos. And chaos kills. Discipline, because discipline requires clarity, and clarity requires simplicity. So here's the practice. Strip your life down to the essentials. One goal at a time, one habit at a time, one focus at a time. Remove the distractions, delete the apps, cut the dead weight. Not because you're being extreme, but because you're being strategic. Because you understand that every yes to something irrelevant is a no to something essential. And you can't afford to say no to your purpose anymore. Now, let's address the enemy, the force that will try to stop you at every turn. It's not external. It's not your job, your family, your circumstances. It's you. Specifically, it's the voice inside your head that says, "I'll start tomorrow. I'm too tired today. I deserve a break. This doesn't matter anyway." That voice is not your friend. It's not protecting you. It's killing you slowly, quietly, one rationalization at a time. And the worst part is, you believe it. You think it's reasonable, logical, compassionate, but it's not. It's fear wearing a mask, fear of failure, fear of discomfort, fear of becoming someone your current self doesn't recognize. And that fear will destroy you if you let it. So how do you fight it? Not with motivation, not with willpower, but with a simple rule: no negotiations. When the alarm goes off, you get up. No debate, no negotiation, no just 5 more minutes. When it's time to train, you train. When it's time to work, you work. You don't ask yourself if you feel like it. You don't weigh the pros and cons. You just do it. Because the moment you start negotiating with yourself, you've already lost. You've opened the door to weakness, and weakness is patient. It will wait for you to crack, and the moment you do, it will flood in and drown you. This is what Musashi meant when he said, "Do not let the enemy choose the battlefield." The enemy is your own hesitation, and the battlefield is the moment of decision. If you let yourself hesitate, you've already lost. But if you act immediately, without thought, without negotiation, you win. Every single time. But here's the secret that ties it all together, the one thing that makes all of this possible. You have to decide that discipline is non-negotiable, not because someone told you to, not because you read it in a book, but because you looked at your life and realized, this is the only way. This is the only path to the life I want, to the person I want to become, to the legacy I want to leave. And once you make that decision, truly make it, not as a wish but as a vow, everything changes. Because you're no longer fighting against discipline, you're fighting for it. You're no longer resisting the hard path, you're embracing it. You're no longer avoiding discomfort, you're seeking it out because you know it's where you grow. And when you reach that point, when discipline becomes your identity, not your struggle, you become unstoppable. You become the person who doesn't break, doesn't quit, doesn't compromise. The person who others look at and wonder, how does he do it? And the answer is simple. You decided. You decided that comfort is a trap, that excuses are poison, that the only person who can save you is you. And then you acted on that decision every single day, without fail, without exception, without mercy. That's the ancient path. That's the way of the warrior. That's how you become unbreakable. And now, if you've made it this far, you're not just watching anymore. You're standing at the edge of a decision. You can close this video, go back to your distractions, and pretend you never heard any of this. Or you can take the first step, right now, in this moment, before the resistance creeps back in. The first step is this. Pick one action, one small, undeniable action that represents the person you want to become. Maybe it's getting up at a specific time tomorrow. Maybe it's training for 20 minutes. Maybe it's writing down your goal and burning. Every excuse, whatever it is, commit to it. Not in your head, but out loud in the comments. Write, I walk the path, so that I know you're serious, so that you know you're serious, because words have power, and when you declare something publicly, you've made a contract with yourself, and if you break it, you'll know exactly what you are, someone who negotiates with weakness. But if you keep it, you'll know exactly what you're becoming, unbreakable. Subscribe to this channel if you want more of this, if you want to be reminded every day that comfort is the enemy and discipline is the weapon. Because I'm not here to make you feel good, I'm here to make you powerful. And power isn't comfortable. It's earned in the cold, in the pain, in the silence, in the moments when you want to quit and you don't. That's where legends are made. That's where you're made. Now go. The path is waiting, and it doesn't care if you're ready.